Check 1, 2. Hey, everybody. It's the Jimmy Doan Show. Well, sort of. It's Counselor Curtis here. Today is the 12th day of, February. Today is the 2022. And we're back, baby. We are back. Well, not really, actually. I'm trying to drag Jimmy back. I don't know why the fuck I'm looking at the light. I'm trying to drag Jimmy back into the studio. But, man, he is a hard dog to get out from under the porch. So it's just me today, but I have to address a couple of things. You know what they are. It's the stuff that's been out in the media. Joe Rogan, okay? Joe Rogan. Let me tell you something about Joe Rogan. First of all, I love Joe Rogan. I've been watching this guy for years. I'm a comedian. He's a comedian, so, little brotherhood, of course, he's way more successful than I am. He's funny, okay? And he's not racist. I don't care what you say. The man is not racist. Listen, you cannot be racist just for using a word, okay? It's the intent that controls. It's not the word itself. As an adult, you're supposed to be able to handle concepts, which means people are supposed to be able to say words around you, and the word itself doesn't trigger you. The word itself doesn't send you into some kind of craziness because it's racist. That's not what happens, okay? That's not reality. Reality is, it's just a word. You have to look at the context, and Joe always uses it in the right context, and therefore he is not racist. That's a hill I'll die on. I'm sorry. You guys out there who are thinking, look, here's the deal. It's not us white people that enslaved the black people, okay? It's not. It was those white people. It was them, okay? It wasn't us. All right? I know what you're thinking. Look, I know you're thinking maybe, hey, you look like them, and so therefore we're going to hold you accountable, right? And I would say, of course, that's not fair. You can't do that. And then some people's response is going to be, well, hey, that's what they did to us, and therefore turnabout's fair play. No, it's not. That's a child's argument. You don't commit the same atrocity that some other people in the past did because they looked like some people you don't like now, or whatever it is. That's all wrong. So no, okay? Joe is my boy. Okay, that's what. Shit, that fucking went blurry right there. Let me tell you something. In the words of Adesanya, Joe is my boy. He is my boy, and I will die on that hill. So anyway, now that being said, Joe has some whack views on government. Okay, he has some seriously whacked views, and I would like to go over a few of them right now, and just in some detail, and have a little what do you call it? Clean up on aisle 5. All right, here let me give you a little Joe Rogan here.
I really believe if Michelle Obama runs, she wins.
She's good.
She's great. She's the wife of the best president that we have had in our lifetime.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Okay, not the best president in our lifetime. Okay, I don't know how old you are. Not the best president in my lifetime. Good guy. Like the guy. Hey, have a beer with the guy. He would be great with a beer. But soft on foreign policy, and let's face it, he spent a shit ton of money. I mean, a shit ton of money. Now, look, George W. Bush started it, okay? W started it, but Obama picked up that ball and fucking ran with it. And we have not yet seen... The inflation we're seeing right now, that's just the beginning of the Obama spending or the Bush spending. But Obama was really the one who really kicked it into high gear. So we'll see how it all comes home. But anyway, Michelle... Yeah, she would win. Yeah, I mean, that's what would happen. Michelle would win in a landslide, I think. And just, look, here's what they're not going to run her. She's not going to run. She's been there, done that. She doesn't want to be there anymore. Come on. She knows she could do it. But there is one scenario that I could see her going through with it. And here's what it is. It would be a strategic scenario for the Democrats. What you would do is you would run Michelle, but you would put a vice president on the ticket who you could live with. And then the concept would be you run Michelle, she wins. The reward is she appoints, or whoever, the successor, Michelle retires, but they appoint Barack onto the Supreme Court. that would be the deal. It would be, Michelle, look, you have to do this so that we can get Barack, so that we can be sure we go in, and we can also get Barack on the Supreme Court. So please don't do that. But so anyway, Michelle would win. But yeah, okay. So next,
I consider universal basic income a really good idea.
Universal basic income. Universal. Are you kidding me? Jesus, this is such a dumb idea. I mean, on so many levels. Look, Joe, first of all, it's been tried. Rich people try this all the time. They're called trust fund babies. It's a horrible failure. They think, hey, I'm going to give my kid everything. And guess what happens? They get spoiled. You have to have the yin and the yang, Joe. You have to have both. There has to be some struggle. You know this. How can you conceive? Why would you think that, that if you give a bunch of random people money, but they're going to become creative artisans? Did you listen to Jordan Peterson tell you about the creativity curve? It's not distributed on the bell shape, okay? It's Pareto distributed. You can't, it's just not going to happen that way. And what about all the people who spend all their money in like the first week? What are you going to do with them? You can't leave them out of it. I mean, you got to give them more, right? So then somebody's going to game the system. It's bad on so many levels. You need people to figure out that balance for themselves. How to contribute to society. Look, men have to have a job. You have to have a way you're integrated and part of society. That's if you take that away, you're gonna wreck it. It's, oh my God. I mean, like I said, so many levels. So many levels.
I want free college education.
Free college? What do you... No, Joe, no, that's a horrible idea. Along the same lines, basically. Look, first of all, it's been tried. My generation, they tried to give us all cheap loans. That was the deal. Look, if you wanted to go to college, all you had to do was get into college and somebody would give you a loan because, of course, government backed, first of all. But second of all, you couldn't charge them in bankruptcy. So now everybody's got tens of thousands of dollars of loans for degrees they just started making up. Hey, you can get a degree in this or that because, shit, we'll give it to you if you'll pay for it, right? And of course they jacked up the tuition the whole time. It's a shitty idea. It's a horrible idea. Now fortunately you're lucky because all education's going online anyway, and it'll be freaking free once the accreditation starts rolling in for the online stuff. But Jesus, Joe, no. Look, it's very compassionate, okay? But start a charity. You got jillions of dollars. You want to go to college? Joe Rogan Fund. Apply. Random people can get in. That's how you do it. Don't advocate we all get taxed more. God.
Hello, Bernie.
How are you, Joe?
Wonderful. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I like Tulsi and I like Bernie. That's it.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody else can eat shit.
Look at you, fucking progressive.
Yeah. I think I'll probably vote for Bernie. I think he's looking out for the interests of the working people. And I think he wants people to have a better life and do better. And I'm all for that. And if that means I have to pay more in tax, like people think, oh, you're a socialist. I've heard people say that. Oh, you're a fucking socialist, bro. Like, first of all, he's not even a socialist. He's a democratic socialist. It's a different thing.
Bernie. Look, I love Bernie too. He is a sweet old man, okay? But talk about unqualified and incompetent. You got to be kidding me. Democratic socialist, my ass. What? Okay, Joe, define it. What's the difference between democratic socialist and a socialist? Look, there are only two sides these days. You're either on the side of authority and government, or you're on the side of liberty and the people. That's it. It's not Democrats and Republicans anymore. It's authority versus freedom. So figure it out which side you're on. Now, Bernie, unfortunately, he's got a lot of ideas. They all include force. They all include somebody with a bunch of guns going around and forcing people to do all the shit that he wants them to do because he can't convince people to do the shit otherwise. That's a problem. Bernie's super sweet. Now, but Jesus, don't give him the wheel or the buttons, the football. Listen, Tulsi, she'd be better. Tulsi would probably keep us out of some wars and shit. She would be a moderate and stuff. But Jesus, she's still on the universal basic income, free college, train, free shit for everybody. You don't have to worry about paying for anything, train, and use a bunch of force for some other shit too. So, no to both of them. Sorry. But Tulsi over Bernie for sure.
I would like to spend more in taxes if they could fix inner city communities and take these poor neighborhoods and throw a fuckload of them. Spend more, you fucking Republican piece of shit.
Look, Joe, of course if they could fix the inner city neighborhoods. Everybody would spend more. That's the whole debate. The whole problem is they're taking money, gobs of money, and they're not doing shit with it. We've been fighting the war on poverty since you and I were born, okay? And it's just gotten worse. Look, it's because they're incompetent. That's not the way you fight the war. The way you fight the war is liberty. You free people up to work. You get rid of copyrights and patents and zoning and licensing and other ridiculous restrictions on people's ability to freaking go to work and produce shit and sell it. And you get rid of the drug war. And I mean, there are just so many better ways. So, geez.
87% of scientists said that human activity is driving global warming.
It's not 87%. It's 97%. Or 96% or some shit. Get with it, Joe. Come on, it's total consensus. No, it's not. That was a huge lie. That was a total fabrication. If you read through the 97% thing, you will see that the word may was used. May contribute. That's the consensus. We may be contributing. Everybody's accepted the warming because we've been on the warming trend for thousands of years. And not only that, but you can look back at the geological record and you can see a repeat of warming and cooling on the order of 5 degrees 10 different times over the last 1,000 years since we just entered this last epoch or whatever they're called. And listen, they're establishing random baselines. So whenever they ask you to spend $1 jillion and change everything about what you're doing because of some shit that they claim that you can't understand, be suspicious.
I'm very pro-choice. I'm very women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, trans rights.
Pro-choice? Yeah, me too, actually. Pro-rights? Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah, look, gay rights, trans rights, women's rights, absolutely. Equality, that is our core, is equality. There are other things that when you follow equality, you will find that some other, like licensing, for example, and zoning, those things violate the equality rules. So equality is very key, definitely. And choice, okay, here's the thing about a women's choice. The bigger the problem, the further away it can be dealt with. But the more personal the problem, the more closely it has to be dealt with. Now, there's nothing more personal than a woman's right, than a woman having a child. All right. If there's an international war going on, you let people in Washington deal with it. But you don't need people in Washington to deal with whether or not Susie's having a baby. That doesn't, no, okay? That's not their problem. That is the mom and the dad's problem, and they can work it out. Yes, boo-boo, exactly. She knows. So, anyway, that's the whole thing. And so I'm pro-choice too. Joe's right about that.
I'm even universal health care.
Okay, universal health care. Again, Joe, horrible idea. Look, it sounds wonderful. It sounds great. Look, everybody should get health care, right? Everybody should. But if you think about it for 1 second, health care is somebody else's service. That's somebody else's service. And you can't have a right to somebody else's service. You just can't. You cannot. It doesn't make sense because that person owns their body. And so you don't own it. And so how can you have a right to health care? No. The good news is the market will give you health care. Trust me, they want to sell you medical shit. And if you just let them, they will do it. And everybody will be provided for. But we have to free up the healthcare system right now because it is so socialist and bogged down. When you go to the doctor, they don't know how much it's going to cost. They don't know how long. They don't know anything, man. It's ridiculous. And they don't give a shit about your concerns or anything because there's the total disconnect between doctor and patient right now, and it's ridiculous, and it's totally the opposite of a free market. So we need to get back to freedom. I gotta let my cat out.
Obviously, this protected status is driving me crazy. This thing that Trump's doing with children that were born in other countries and then brought over here as children, and then they're talking about deporting them. That drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's
that kind of shit. And the hard right version of that is despicable. These people that I see online, why didn't they apply for citizenship? Oh, who knows? Maybe because they're fucking 13. I don't give a fuck if they broke the law. You don't take parents and kids and separate them. You just fucking don't.
Okay, immigration. All right, I'm with Joe on this one too, but I'm gonna take it even further. From my perspective, if you show up in this country, you should get in. Now, you may have to waive benefits for a few years or something like that, but it should be pretty much automatic. They can do a background check on you. If you're not a known criminal or known terrorist, you're in. And what you do, it's very simple. You have a bunch of restaurants, you line them up all over the borders. And what you do is people can come in, they get a free meal, and the receipt is a green card. But in the meantime, or a citizenship card. But in the meantime, while they're standing in line, you take their photograph from all angles, you weigh them, whatever. You get their trash when they leave. You take their fingerprints, you get their DNA. It's easy. If you really need to, you feed them a chip or something. So look, either way, you do the scan right then to find out if they're known terrorists, and if they're not, come on in, baby. Look, we need people. We gotta compete with China. Are you kidding me? China, they have like 4 times our people right now. We need immigrants, and we do well with immigrants. We're all immigrants. We're all immigrants. So we need people to come in. And listen, I know people say, look, I have friends, stupid friends, who are like, hey, the immigrants are taking all the resources. No, they're not. Look, people add resources. Thanos was completely wrong. People add resources in general. That's why we have more people today and more resources than ever, because people have figured out how to multiply the resources exponentially, and it's worked, and it's going to keep working, and that's just the way things go. So the more people, the better. And those few smart Elon Musk people make up for all the freeloaders that are out there. So bring them.
You know Alonzo?
No, who's that?
A funny comedian.
Yeah.
He said, he goes, not all Donald Trump supporters are racist,
Yeah.
but all racists are Donald Trump supporters.
Yeah, that's totally not true. Hey, look, hey, you don't have to call it racism if you don't want to. If you want to say that treating white people bad because they're white is not racism because they're in power, well, okay, what do you call it then?
But the January 6th thing is important.
See, it is important,
And
but is it the 6 months later? Should be the ruling number one conversation of a journalist?
I think it's really important. And one of the reasons why I think it's important, because it highlights the reasons why a guy like Donald Trump is so fucking dangerous. Is because a guy can incite a bunch of morons to do something really fucking stupid.
No, Joe, January 6th is totally unimportant. Nothing happened. Look, it was not an insurrection. If you think it was an insurrection, ask yourself these questions, okay? When did it move from being trespass to an insurrection? When some people wrote down some kind of plan on a napkin we haven't seen yet? When some people yelled, hang Mike Pence? Come on, that doesn't make it... Look, if they yelled, we're going to take over Paris after this, does that mean that it's an insurrection against France as well? No, because there has to be some possibility of success. Were they trying to take over the whole world? No, because they couldn't. There was no possibility of success for even the people who were trying, which was a small group in whoever was there. But it doesn't matter. It is so far from an insurrection. Ask yourself this question. What stopped the insurrection? The brave Capitol Police? I don't think so. That's not what it looked like. So it looks like, if you have a voodoo doll and you stick a pin in it, that's not attempted murder, okay? Because there's no possibility it's going to work. It's not going to work. So... same kind of a thing. So totally unimportant. Certainly not as important as burning down a courthouse. So.
As far as trans people, some trans people listening to this, I got nothing but love for you. For everybody. And in fact, Eddie Izzard is one of my all-time favorite guests.
Oh, I love Izzard.
The right-wing thing is just an easy way to dismiss me, because I'm not right-wing. I can't recommend your book, Race Matters, enough.
I got nothing but love for everybody also. I've never read Cornell's book, so I don't know how good it is or bad it is or whatever. But anyway, Joe, I love you. I love you. Keep rocking, buddy.